I'm so glad you're here because it's time. Come away into the cinders of memory and the embers of imagination. This is Story Cinders. Happy Halloween, everybody. And for those who celebrate Day of the Dead, that's coming up too. And in the spirit of this very, very special season, which is my favorite season, spooky season, I have a story that is very appropriate to share with y'all. So, as you can tell by the image used, it has something to do with a cemetery. And this story does, in fact, take place in a cemetery. And it was when I was about 5 or 6 years old. Um, Grown ups had, drug us to some funeral. I have no idea who this person was who had died. I don't know. All I know is that I was dressed up in Sunday clothes and we went to the funeral. And then after the church service, of course, you go to the cemetery. So I remember walking around the cemetery and it's summertime. So it's really hot outside. The sun is up, it's really bright. And there's sticker bras floating around. I'm used to them. I know what they are, but this time, this sticker bra got stuck on my church sock, and it was poking me in my ankle real bad. And I didn't know. Every time I tried to like grab it, it would like stab my fingers. So it got to the point where I couldn't get this sticker bra off my sock. So I'm limping, and I go to the nearest thing. Mind you, I'm little. I'm a kid. So I go to the nearest thing that I could lean on, which was a tombstone. So I remember reaching out like my hand and leaning on a tombstone and picking my foot up to try to get the sticker bra off my foot because not my foot, my ankle. It was poking me in my ankle, trying to get the sticker bra off my ankle because it hurt. And like I say, walking just made it like keep stabbing me and stuff. So I'm over here up against this tombstone, struggling, fighting for my life, trying not to cry because for some reason, I thought I was gonna get in trouble. And like the people, the grown-ups and stuff, they were walking by me, and only thing they could find to take the time to do was tell me to get off of the tombstone, because that's considered disrespectful because everybody was walking back. I was walking back too. That's how I got the sticker bra stuck. We were walking back from the grave site to like a tent or something where they would either lower the body or we had already lowered the body. Anyway, we were going from one point of the cemetery to another point of the cemetery. And nobody stopped to see what was wrong with me. Nobody, they just took time to chastise me for disrespectfully standing on somebody's grave and leaning up against a gravestone. So I'm over here in the hot sun crying, trying to get this thing from stabbing me in my ankle. And while I'm over there, I see this shadow because I say it's the sun. It's summer and the sun is up. It's real high. So this shadow like steps in front of the sun and it's like towering over me. So I look up and you know how when the sun is like, like in your eye, you really can't see that good. So I look up and it's this big, tall man and he's really dark skinned, but I can't see his face because like this, it's like the sun was like, too bright and it was like blurring out his face. Like I don't know how to really explain. I'm like rubbing my hand in front of my face like y'all can see me. But it like blacked out his face, but it was like a halo, but like a shadow over his face. And he had this real I mean he had this like really deep voice. And but what most sticks out to me were his hands. His hands were really big and calloused and they just had text, that the hands of like a man who like really works his hands, like maybe he does something with machines or just he's very handy, but his hands were just very big and rough and textured, and I like, I'm little, so that's kind of like where my eyesight is, like, because he's tall, so I notice his hands first and the most. And while I'm still standing there, like with my foot up, leaned up against the tombstone, he's the first one to approach me. He looked at me and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I didn't want to speak because, like I said, I didn't want to, because I'm crying, so I didn't want to like say something and then it'd be more obvious that I'm crying. So I just shook my head no and pointed to my sock, and he reached to my sock. Like I said, his hands were like so callous. It was like leather, and he was so dark. He was really, really dark skinned, and he picked the sticker bra off my sock like it was nothing, because I'm pretty sure he couldn't feel it because how callous his hands were. He picked it off my sock, threw it on the ground, and then looked at me. And he was like, "Is that better? Are you okay?" And I just nodded my head and like crying tears of like relief. And I get emotional every time I tell this story because nobody stopped to help me. Nobody came to see if I was okay. They just fussed at me for standing over there. And I I got myself together, and y'all, I'm looking for this man. I'm walking around all the grown-ups looking at hands, trying to find this man who saved me, who helped me, and I could not find him. I never saw him. Like, I did not see this man again. And he would have been easy to see, as tall as he was, as dark as he was. I feel like I would have been able to see him, but I did not see him again. I don't know who he was. I don't know where he came from, because it's like he just appeared and then just disappeared. And it's not like I could ask, somebody like, "Oh, did you see a tall and dark skinned man?" No, because like I say, grown ups were not safe. So of course I couldn't ask them nothing. They're gonna just tell me to go somewhere or whatever. But yeah, I don't know who he was. I never I like Now that I'm older and I think back, I feel like he was sent to help me because I just really needed help. And just that small act of kindness just really touched me. And I wanted to find him because I didn't have a lot of kindness in my life, especially at that age. And I just wanted to find him again because he made me feel like safe. He made me feel like somebody cared about me. And that's not a feeling I had in a very, very long time. So I just went around and just kept looking at everybody's hands, but I couldn't find him. And whoever he was, I'm very grateful to him. Like, just like that small thing was a huge thing to my child self, you know. But yeah, I don't know if he was a spirit guide. I don't know if he was a angel or an ancestor, or I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that's one of those memories that's vivid for me, and like very emotional for me to talk about. A lot of stuff from my memory I can talk about, and it don't bother me too much, but that one, like, cuz and it's not cuz it's like, "Oh, I'm sad about it." It's just I was just so full of gratitude and joy, and like I just felt like, oh my God, somebody cares about me. Somebody helped me. Somebody cared enough to help me. But yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble about this story. Well, y'all, that's the end of this one, but definitely not the end of our journey. So I will see you next story.